Hello, my name is Ingrid Boudet and I'm founder of No More Noise Toronto, and I'm pleased to be with you today to share with you our organization. Many thanks to Sally Guston from the Yonge Corridor Condo Association and Councillor Cheng for this opportunity. No More Noise Toronto is an organization that is focused on the noises that wake us up, keep us up, and disturb us day and night. We are a grassroots organization that is data and process oriented, and through that, we've established relationships with the City of Toronto in these 4 divisions that you see down below. We are engaged in the civic process at City Hall, and thank you so much to Sally for deputing a number of times. We are also very pleased to be collaborating with a number of other like-minded organizations. And a big thank you to Councillor Cheng. When I learned that she was data and process oriented, I was thrilled. And since for about the last couple of years, she has been a supporter and a community engager and a promoter of a better sounding city. So what are the sources of noise pollution? Traffic is the most prevalent. Loud and sometimes modified vehicles are everywhere. Diesel engines, such as from dump trucks, cement trucks, and semis, they are finding their way on more and more streets as our city builds. And of course, there's always emergency vehicles with their sirens. Construction is also a big issue. Those large vehicles are all over the place at all hours of day and night. There's also the demolition of existing buildings and the noise of building new ones. There's also the backup beepers that are on site. And of course, the workers, sometimes they also can be a little loud in the morning when they arrive at the site before traffic begins. There's also stationary noise sources, and heating and cooling systems that are on top of buildings sometimes are right at ear level for others, and they also can emit a very low frequency kind of a hum that can be very hard to ignore. The image on the right is a diagram of how street level noise bounces off of the hard surfaces of buildings of glass and concrete and increase the reach of street level noise. So as our city gets more dense, we will get more loud. When Willowdale is already noisy. Here you see 2 maps. On the left is the map from the Not 311 noise report, where we had over 12,000 noise reports from noise that could not be reported to the city properly. And so we were thrilled to have lots of responses, and you can see that Willowdale has a real highlight here in the top center. And the map on the right here is from where we were crowdsourcing motor vehicle inspection locations. So Toronto Police Services and Municipal Licensing and Standards hold joint inspection blitzes, as they call them, in the summer to inspect mufflers. And as you can see, Willowdale also had quite the response to that survey. So what are the impacts of noise pollution? Why should we care about noise pollution? First and foremost, it's a health issue. We have no defense against sound, and our bodies can't stop responding. And it's those physical impacts of our bodies being constantly a little bit on stress, always having that flight or fight response that can lead all the way to heart attacks and strokes and other health impacts beyond losing our hearing. Mental health impacts, which is, it can lead to an increase in depression and anxiety and cognitive functioning. So our ability to focus, our ability to learn, our ability to think is all impaired when we keep getting distracted by noise. And we all know how bad we feel when we get inadequate sleep. Imagine that on a chronic basis where somebody never can get a good night's sleep. You can understand how this becomes a very big health issue very quickly. The other thing to be considerate of is real estate values. As our cities get more dense and we're put in tighter and tighter little boxes and tighter spaces, people are recognizing that noise impacts them in their home. And so people are starting to use cell phones to measure noise levels before purchasing a property. And they go back a couple times to make sure that they get the night and the daytime noise levels. But there are solutions to reducing noise in our city. Technology is one of the biggest ones. Loud vehicles can be managed and monitored through noise cameras. Soundview is a UK company whose cameras are in New York City, and they are actively targeting and ticketing loud vehicles. And those tickets are holding up in court. Area sound level monitoring is where you can see there's a little double-ended microphone on the bottom right of the screen. That would get mounted on top of a streetlight, so there's power, and then what it would do is transmit sound levels to the bylaw officer's desktops. So there's also links and QR codes to both of those companies. So area sound level monitoring could help on streets, could help in parks, could help make sure that festivals stay within allowable noise limits. The other thing is policy. We are going to advocate to propose that noise pollution be added to provincial mandatory programs. And now Sally's going to come on and share with you what you can do to reduce noise in Toronto.
Thank you, Ingrid. So if you live in the Yonge Corridor and you're bothered by noise, what can you do? Well, first of all, you can create a report at 311 for construction noise, stationary noise, all sorts of other noise problems like cars and that sort of thing. It's either by telephone, call 311, or use the app to record. Now, if it's moving vehicles and you happen to get a license plate number, and even if you don't, you can report to the Toronto Police Service. They have a traffic reporting form. If you have the license plate number and they get enough complaints about that car, they can be on the lookout for that car. But even if they don't, they get a lot of complaints, say from the Empress and Yonge area, then they know, well, we should monitor that more closely. So all these reports are data points. And the more we complain, the louder we complain, the more we make noise about noise, we will get some action. And lastly, there are things you can do. You can join No More Noise Toronto, the advocacy group, sign up for the Noise News. And also, remember that Wednesday, June 4th, from 6 to 7 p.m. at the North York Central Library in room 1 on the 2nd floor, Ingrid will be speaking and telling us more about the situation regarding noise and what we can do about it. And we thank her very much for that.
Thank you so much, Sally. So everyone, thank you so much for your attention. Let's create a better Toronto by reducing noise.